I guess I should open the YouTube chat, eh? That's gonna have some stuff on it. Or does it show up on?
It'll show up in here too.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We're live.
Should I be recording audio or?
No, not yet.
We did a clap. We did a clap.
Yeah, we'll do it when we come back. Let's see.
Trying to jam this sandwich down my throat before we start.
You're fine. Jeremy's here. What? Tesla Rock. Jeremy.
Yeah, he's trying to hear if I talk shit about it.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's funny. All right, gonna go to our faces here. Hello. What is up, everybody?
Said we had time. I'm still chewing.
Well, you do have time. We haven't started the show yet. We're just getting situated.
Yeah. Stuff your face, man. Stuff your face.
On,
Chug,
on
chug,
live
chug.
internets. Chug it down with some amino energy.
Well, I bought some of these little.
It has
little
electrolytes.
things,
It's what plants crave.
It's just like,
Supplements.
yeah. Well, it's like it says vitamin liquid water enhancer,
Whoa.
but I
That's
don't
like,
see anywhere where it actually says it has vitamins in it besides the front that says B3, B6, and B12.
That's vitamins.
But nowhere else does it actually say that it has B vitamins in it.
It's
buy
red.
that
Oh,
off
never
of InfoWars or something.
Yeah.
An Alex
Yeah.
Jones product.
No, it's just it's Kroger brand, you know. So, I also bought a bunch of like little Kool-Aid ones. I'm like trying to get off the caffeine. So,
Mm.
you know, that is what I'm
Get off the caffeine and go straight to the taurine.
right.
Yeah. Jeremy says he's taking bets on whether or not you got to pee during the show. I'm taking that bet.
He just beat.
I won't take that bet because it's a guarantee.
Right. It's funny. All right. I think we're good to roll. Except Nick froze. Are you still there? Oh, there you go. You're good.
What?
No, you're good.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I was just sitting really still.
Yeah. It's like, how long can you fake it? Except my microphone's moving.
Yeah, I got my little things dangling.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to start rolling on my end if you want to start your recording apparatus.
All right. Recording.
Keep an eye on that waveform. You know how Audition is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Evan Beck. What up, Evan? What up, Vicky? Brett? Paul? All right. The peeps are here. They're ready to see a show. This is gonna be
Hold on
fun.
1 second.
I know I don't have to write much for these kind of shows.
Okay. Just had to check. I'm getting a lot of room noise. I don't know why.
Might be
I mean,
It's probably the
Air
room.
No,
conditioning.
it's me. It's me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at my waveform. It's getting a lot of room noise, but I mean, it's still like negative 45.
Oh yeah, I'll gate that.
Whatever.
It'll be gated. You're good. All right. Let's do a sync clap. It'll be 1, 2, 3 clap. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Perfect.
Good.
All right. Rolling.
Got my notes. All right, here we go. Make sure I mute my phone.
Just don't
yeah.
miss it if that call comes in.
Yeah, I know. I got it right here if I get that call. All right.
Oh, there my phone goes. Let me mute this. Okay.
All right. What's up and welcome to another Mograph Mocast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt, and joining us today is Mr. Balls himself, Nick Denboer, Smearballs.
Hello, hello.
And
Great to
Mograph,
be here. Thanks for having me.
and Mograph is a supplement to our site, mograph.com, which is a motion graphics tutorial site with tutorials, plugins, podcasts, and other Mograph stuff. And on the show, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects, plugins, render engines, doing business, doing taxes, being a contractor, or working for the man. Email us, info@mograph.com. Let us know what you think about the show. Questions, comments, concerns, grievances, topic ideas, artist suggestions. Although we are booked.
That's a good one.
We are booked pretty far in advance at this point, almost the end of
like October, right?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of them up on the site. I don't have all of them listed on the site yet. We got some other people that have sent in their scheduling that they have picked, and then yeah, make sure you subscribe to us on the things, all the things. If you're on Facebook, YouTube,
All of them.
or Instagram, or whatever it is, just mash.
Do we
that,
have a TikTok
that
yet?
subscribe button. No, TikTok's illegal, Matt. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
anti-American.
yeah. What's the
Yeah.
point of using it if it's just going to be illegal? By yesterday, which it wasn't.
Yeah.
Aren't
they saying Microsoft's going to buy that?
Yeah. Microsoft
Something?
will probably buy it.
The president
Yeah, I
said
can't
he
remember-
was not going to allow that or something. I think or something. I don't know.
What?
Yeah,
How?
yeah. Instagram has their own TikTok coming out anyway, right?
Yeah, it does.
Instatalk.
Well, what's interesting is it's what?
Instatalk.
Instatalk, right?
Yeah.
No.
Tickgram.
Allow me to be a little, put on my tinfoil hat for a second. But Zuckerberg is so anti, wanting to censor Trump, and Trump starts talking about how TikTok is bad right as Instagram is coming out with its own version of it.
Okay,
Saying we're going to ban it. And I will tell you, the number of people that I have seen on TikTok who have released a TikTok saying, follow me on Instagram, is insane. So I'm just saying.
Exactly how
I
many?
think there's something
How
there.
many boner pills and supplements in gold are you stashing from Alex Jones's
Me?
website? Yeah, yeah.
Never mind.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that TikTok is a weird place to put motion graphics unless you have a good,
It is a
hook
weird
or
place for motion graphics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like-
did a couple posts and then I kind of deleted the app. I just, went back to
It's-
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, we are so used to the way Instagram is and looks and stuff like that. TikTok, if you're making stuff for TikTok, it's got to be specifically like that format and stuff. Even seeing things that people have done on YouTube and transfer over to TikTok, where it's like mega super letterboxed,
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't translate well.
Yeah, it's
I
going
don't
to
know.
be specifically geared toward that kind of humor,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
not funny, apparently, according to what you've been
When
sending me.
Dave calls you a conspiracy theorist.
Right?
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
true.
That's true. Let's see. On the agenda, here's the
What's
deal.
on the agenda?
We've got Mr. Balls here today, and
Mr. Balls.
if I have to duck out and take a phone call during the show, Matt,
can just
you're
keep
gonna have to
going.
take
We'll
over.
keep
You
going.
keep going.
I can
you
roll
do your
this.
thing. You sure you can handle it, Matt? You sure you?
I'm
Should
pretty
get-
sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, just making sure.
Don't leave me with him alone, please. Come on.
The
But I had
It gets awkward.
Time I heard that.
oh man, so man, nothing else really going on. Like week wrap up. I don't have anything. I don't know if there's any. We haven't posted
Yeah,
anything.
no, it's a slow week,
It was a
slow
slow
week.
week. Real slow week.
which is nice. It's
Yeah.
good because we got jobs that are starting to ramp up.
Mhm.
It's that summer lull. There's always that summer lull.
Yeah.
It's like there's the January February lull, and then there's the summer lull. Like June, July. That's where we always
Mhm.
get it, and then people start ramping up, and that's exactly what's happening for us.
Mm-hmm.
I gave myself a self-imposed lull. Took some time off.
It's
That's
nice.
good.
I was going a little overboard this year. I had to take a break, so I'm taking most
imagine.
of August to dick around in the studio and do some renos. And maybe at the end of the month, I'll get back into my Houdini training that
Oh,
I
yeah.
get the guilt trip emails
Yeah.
from you guys all the
Yeah.
time. Like, how's your Houdini training going? So
It's all right.
Have completed.
I get mine from Aaron Sorensen every
Yeah.
week telling me I've done
Yeah.
0% of his course. So,
yeah.
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 I was all about it until I got the course and 5 projects at the same time. And then,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I'm like a third of the way through, but
I mean, I can.
You've posted a few Houdini things here and there, right?
yeah, I've been taking. All I've really done is the Vellum soft body stuff. I haven't. I want to get into particle systems and that kind of stuff next, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Right.
Digging holes in the backyard first, man.
Yeah, it's more important right now.
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
It actually feels very. It seems like it feels very satisfying to think about right now.
Yeah.
I got out of the house and cleaned up the old car that hasn't started in a while yesterday, and it felt good to just be outside working on a car instead of a computer.
Totally. Yeah, I feel it. I did the same thing. I got an old '84 Corvette that I started driving around this summer again, and it was just lost acceleration. Like it kind of randomly accelerates now, and I think there's some
Fun.
junk in the fuel pump. But yeah, it
Ooh.
freaked me out the other day.
Just
So-
randomly started accelerating.
No, it just cuts out and like
Mm.
fluctuates. So got to deal with that this week. So that's
Gotcha.
another fun thing.
Been
But we're
sitting
here
around.
to talk about computers, aren't we?
Yeah,
Right,
Talk
yeah.
about computers.
a little bit. I
Yeah.
thought we could quickly mention a little Ravcock. What's your flavor?
What's your flavor?
Honestly, all I got's Octane, man. I don't really desire anything else.
Yeah.
It does everything for me.
Well, good
Yeah, I'm
news.
in love.
That's good news. We've got one link here for Octane because, dude, the Brigade previews Jules has been
Ooh,
showing
so
are off
nice.
the freaking chain, dude. And he did this new
Yeah.
one this week, and I will actually post if you're interested in taking a look on Vimeo. I think is it Vimeo? It is Vimeo. So Jules has been posting these Brigade demos, and he posts them on Facebook, but he also posts them up on Vimeo so you could see the high res. Because you know how it
Mhm.
is with Facebook's compression; it's just garbage.
Right.
So even the one that he has here on Vimeo is only 720. I wish there were a better version of this, but
Just on the Otoy Vimeo account.
yeah. And I can send you the link in the dingus if you need. Where did it go? Was that it?
Where did it go?
Oh, that was short.
That's absolutely insane.
There's a longer video somewhere. Let's see if I can find it real quick. There's this showcase. So it's vimeo.com/showcase 7400404. It'll be in the show notes. I'm gonna put this in our dingus so that you can click on it and check it out.
Cool.
But I think here's okay. Daylight Test 2. This is the one I wanted to show. So people were asking after his test last week to show, a little bit more motion and action, like lighting. Wanted to see the sun direction change and just see how fast Brigade responds. And there's still
The freaking God rays in this are insane.
yeah. Yeah, look at that. The God rays, and that's something that's been notoriously slow for
Yeah.
Octane in the past, and it's still kind of hard to see with some of the compression in this video. It's still super compressed, but
Still nuts that you're not seeing,
yeah.
any lag, like sample lag that you normally see. Like it is fast.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, this
crazy.
is just basically something you can load while you're working. It's not production
Mhm.
ready, and of course, it would be good if you're doing some sort of, pre-render for your client. But
Well, from what I understand, he's been saying like this is basically just it's going to be a button you click on. That's another kernel.
Yeah.
You've got path tracing, PMC, direct lighting, whatever. You're just going to
Brigade.
have Brigade
Mhm.
as its
Wow.
own. Which is
Oh,
awesome.
I didn't know that it was actually going to be available on other.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
way! Wow, I
Yeah,
thought this
so,
was
like-
just a Unreal, or yeah,
Mm-mm.
that
Nope.
was just for Unreal.
So
wow.
they're building it all in, right? And so you can work in Brigade, and then just switch over to path tracing whenever you're done.
Mhm.
You know,
Wow.
if you even want to do that. I mean,
Right.
if you've got real time like this is something that Casey Hupke talked about at his NAB talk a couple years ago, where he was rendering the actual viewport and doing
that
it
was
really,
amazing.
really big, you know, like 4K,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
bringing it down so that he wouldn't have the
Aliasing.
the aliasing, yeah, you know. So I mean, think about it. If you can render even like 3 or 4 frames a second, you know,
Yeah.
at 4K,
Sure.
and then just bring it down quite a bit, it's gonna
Yeah.
look so good. You
Yeah,
know,
you could like full screen it and screen cap
Yeah.
it and while you're playing back. That's
right?
Cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So it would use the same material systems, everything, and
Yep.
just like have a different
the
kernel
same.
and loads it all. Wow.
Yep.
That's
It's all the
nuts.
same. It's gonna be awesome. I cannot wait. Like I think that is gonna be just like I think it's gonna be just like Octane originally was, where it was just this huge game changer once you started going over to GPU rendering.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
once you start getting into real time, it's like, and you get a mass market working in real time.
hmm
Everyone's gonna be everyone's gonna want it. You know.
Yeah.
And
No
the
one wants to
whole,
render.
like the fact that it keeps everybody kind of like the competition and everybody kind of doing this whole back and forth. You know, you've got
Yeah.
our Redshift RT, for example, coming out for their viewport, and the competition, the back and forth competition keeps everybody kind of on their toes and wanting to make it better, which is really cool. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I am so excited about it. And you know, there's so many of these little jobs that we do where it's like it doesn't necessarily have to be 100% photorealistic, you know.
Right.
It's like
Mhm.
unless you're working for a production company who's like, we need this, you know, working on a Marvel movie, we need this to look super photoreal. If you're working for like a little tiny whatever company and they don't know that you're rendering it in Brigade versus
Yeah,
you know
Yeah.
full path tracing or something,
These
you know, it's like
trade show stuff. with
exactly
booths
like some of the
and
trade
renderings
show
and-
stuff. Yeah.
Easy.
It's like right now. Geez, sorry, I'm like super blown out. I just noticed that.
No, you're fine.
So, well, I'm super blown out on my recording. So,
Oh, your
but what I
audio.
was saying, like,
Oh,
yeah. Sorry, you're gonna have to deal with that
that's
later.
gonna suck. Oh, okay.
But what I've noticed, like, what was I? Where was I going with this?
Brigade.
Brigade.
You can still
dang it.
charge your clients just as much.
Yeah.
Just
No,
give them
like,
crappy renders.
Right now, I got a project where it's like it's gonna take me 24 hours straight to render, just just on one machine.
Yeah.
And this client doesn't need it to look. They want it to look real, but Brigade looks real enough,
Right.
And so it's like, I don't know. It would be nice to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much cool real-time stuff going on too. Like last time I was in LA for Motion Plus Design, and I think it was February or something. I went to a place called Digital Nation Entertainment, and they do like volumetric capture there as well, where it's like they're doing full, videogrammetry with textures that can play back in real time in Unreal,
Man.
which is pretty wild. Like, and they're pretty high res, and I'm just like, this stuff is getting pretty nuts right now.
Yeah.
And
It's
I mean,
good.
yeah.
The competition, like keeping everyone on their toes is awesome. Hey, it's
Yeah.
great.
Totally, yeah. Because I mean, I went to Otoy headquarters too, and Jules showed me their system that does that
Yeah.
as well, right? Like,
Yeah.
capture, it's like,
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm super interested to see where that goes, because that's definitely going to be the future of performance capture.
Yeah, totally.
It's cool.
Well, let's talk about what we're here for today, which is to talk about this Pomegranate video,
Yeah, dude.
this dead
Great
mouse
job,
video.
by the way.
Oh,
It
thanks,
looks
guy.
great.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I was. I'm happy with the turnout for sure. It was definitely a render challenge, but it
Seriously.
all worked out in the end.
I was looking at stills today, man, and I'm just looking at some of the details and the textures and things, and I'm like, God, how did you get this done? How did you get this done?
How long?
No
how long
sleep,
did you work
man.
on it for?
I was 54 days start to finish.
Wow.
So my pal Davey Force and I, he's an awesome animator dude. I've worked with, he's the guy I did the chickening with and tons of other projects. Super cool dude. And so him and I did the entire month of May together, just building assets. So like he did most of the work on the inside of the car, like all the dials and switches and all those HUDs and everything like that. So he did that for the first couple weeks. And then I just built all the other cars and everything like that. And then David Ariev was doing environments. So, and then I also added to his environments as well, did a bit of that as it was coming in, because he was working weekends and would pass something off. And I'm just like, I can't, give him revisions because I have to wait a week till he's got back on the weekend. So I was just like, all right, I'll just take it to completion. And he did a really good job of like kind of roughing things out and getting it pretty close. And then, I took that across. So it was like the first month, or I guess, 3.5 weeks was just building stuff like crazy. I did all the characters in like a day, like all those character helmets, and like it was just, pushing stuff out. And then we had this pile of stuff. And then after like week 3, I'm starting to get nervous because I'm like, shit, I've only like a bit over a month to do the whole video now, and I haven't even done any animation yet. I'm like, So then I turned the key. I was like, Davey, I got to switch off now, because he could only work for another week. So he did all the interior car animation stuff in a week. And then I just did everything else pretty much for the last 5 weeks, just going crazy and not sleeping hardly. But it was cool. I mean, it was one of those things. I mean, it wasn't a huge budget, but it was literally, Joel just lets me do whatever I want. And like, when do you get an opportunity like that? So I'm like, if I get full creative freedom, I'm down to like go overboard, If it's like, if I'm doing if someone else is breathing down my neck, telling me to change everything and being a dick, I'm not doing 14-hour days for whatever, it's you got to pay for that service if I'm going to be somebody's magic paintbrush.
Yeah, that's something.
So
he's really cool about. He just kind of, if he trusts you, he's like, just do your thing. Because that's why he hires you in the first place, right? I'm sure he knew what you had in store.
Sure. I was just sending him stuff as I went, and he's just like, dude, that's awesome. Like, no, no changes, no notes. At the end, I finally sent him the full clip, and he's just like, awesome, man, ship it. That's like...
That's funny.
No changes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely like a scheduling nightmare a bit. I mean, in retrospect, it went pretty well. I actually got done a few days ahead of schedule. That's good. Originally it was supposed to be July 1st, and then they bumped it to like the 26th or something of June. And I was like, I don't know if that's possible, but I'll try. So I just like, went for it. And it's the kind of thing, like, I don't really plan and storyboard every shot out. I knew I wanted to hit, like, my rough draft for like the original pitch package was like, the car sprouts legs and walks, and then it has wings, but everything, all the details in between and every action was like totally just winging it, like just knowing that I have this much time to fill in the space environment, and bust out a bunch of renders. And every day I kind of had a quota. I'm like, I need to render between 150 and 250 frames every day, no matter what, because that's kind of what like the math worked out to be at the end when I was actually animating. I'm like, I can't just animate and rough things out and do an edit and then go render. I need to like render as I go until it's done, and then it's done. Like, so that's the way it went. And then Joel lent me his crazy box, which I still have over there. He hasn't put it back yet. Funny. So I'm still, I put it like in the room over there. It was all downstairs before because it's so loud. It's like sounds like a jet engine. So I was like, I can't have it up here. So I put it downstairs in the other room, as far away from me in the building as possible. And I had to put up baffles and everything like that. But
that's the one
it was super helpful.
That was the one in his basement, right? Like,
yeah. He lent me the good one. He has 2.
Oh,
and he gave me the good one for now. So he's just like, I'm not using it. Go for it. Borrow it. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let me know when you want it back.
Right.
How about the update story on that box?
Oh God, I'm sure a lot of people have heard this already, but I'm probably one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my life. I was like kind of desperate because I don't know. I guess it was fine because I was running into RAM issues with Octane. It was just conking out and giving me those CUDA errors, and I could not figure it out for the life of me. And then I started like installing the slave with only like 6 GPUs, and it would work for some scenes, and 4 GPUs, and it worked for other ones, and not 6. And like and then I isolated it, so I just picked GPU. I did every iteration of GPUs to find out if I had one bad one. Not the case. It's just literally had some kind of capacity with the textures, even though it was within the VRAM and everything like that. And I was just going nuts.
Were they all the same cards?
Yeah, they're all the same cards, and they have like 16 gigs of VRAM in each of them. Like, there was plenty of VRAM, and I just was like, I don't know what's going on. And then, so I don't know. I stupidly was looking. I'm like, oh, the firmware is from 2014 or 15 or something. And I look at all the firmware updates, and there's like tons of like NVIDIA related updates. So I'm like, maybe this is just old firmware and it'll work. And I had just done the firmware on my other computer thinking, hey, it's no big deal. I did it on my other one. And I stupidly didn't back up the firmware on this thing. And I decided to do an update. And I knew I shouldn't. I like, in my brain, I'm sitting there and I was like, and I told my wife, I was like, I went to push the button and I stopped myself. I'm like, no, I shouldn't do this. And then I went and I did it like some kid, like some little stupid kid. And I pushed it and it just, boom, I go to boot up. It's just black screen and beeping noises. And it was just would not come on. And I'm freaking out. And so after like a whole afternoon of like freaking out, I read the code and it's like a PCI error. So I'm like, okay. So I unhooked. It has like 2 PCI slots on the motherboard that feed all 4 with the splitter. So if there's 4 on each, like 2 times 4 going to 8. So I unhooked the PCI slots and it actually booted. I could get into Windows. I'm like, at least that, but it's not. There's no way I could do it with the PCI installed. And I'm like, what the hell? And then I go down the rabbit hole of this BIOS shit, and it was actually built by somebody at NVIDIA, I think. I'm not even sure if Box built it. Joel thought that someone at Box built it, but this machine was used on The Walking Dead, and then some guy at NVIDIA like gave it to Joel, and it's like, this has been around. There was no sticker that said it was from Box on the back. Joel said it was. So I emailed the guys at Box, and I'm like, dudes, like, I've got this machine, and I need a BIOS file, because I found out the BIOS file actually has some, like, all the official ASUS BIOS files did not have the option for enabling these PCI slots to be split on the slots themselves. And I'm like, and then I start reading, and I'm like, you have to actually hack the BIOS with some software and alter it and then install it. And if you do that, you can totally brick the machine if you screw it up. So I'm like, I'm not doing that on this thing. I've screwed enough stuff up. So it was a miracle that the Box people actually got back to me, sent me the BIOS file and a PDF of what all the settings are supposed to be. And I just plugged it all in and it worked. And I was like, and then finally, like, texted Joel back. I'm like, hey, I got it working. No big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal. It's all good.
What kind of cards? They're something 100s, right?
They're GP 100s, yeah.
Yeah.
GP 100. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, $8,000 US or something. Yeah. So that's why I was like, okay, if I brick this thing, those are the expensive part. I could probably for $4 or $5 grand build the box and replace the motherboard and use what the power supplies and just rebuild it. But I was thinking worst case scenario, but it was all good, and it literally was a 24-hour period of crap in my pants, and I got it working again and started rendering right away again. And then my buddy Malcolm was like, dude, he's one of the developers at Touch Designer, and he's like lives right down the street from me. And I told him, because he's a buddy of Joel's, and he actually made that new software that Joel just put out, that live performance software.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he was like, dude, it's probably just a RAM issue, because there's 128 gigs of RAM in the machine, or maybe 128, and it's just insufficient. So I put he's like, turn up the virtual RAM. So I put a 256 gig SSD in it and set it all to virtual RAM. And then I was able to render with all the cards. So I actually put it on the Slack, and the guys from Render Network were like, oh my God, this works. And they were started to implement it, because they had tons of people having CUDA errors, and it actually works to set up your virtual RAM as RAM. Because it actually, because when you're splitting to tons of cards, it just needs a space to like allocate all that RAM. There wasn't enough room, I guess. So when you have an 8-card machine like that, you have to give it tons of RAM, I suppose. I don't know. But I got it working, and I was rendering at full blast for the last 3 weeks of the project. And
how long were your render times? Like, how long were your frames?
They vary between 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes. And that's with, like, I had my main machine that has three 2080 Ti's in it, and I've got another machine with two 1080 Ti's and another machine with two 1080 Ti's and that box with 8 GPUs. So like 15 GPUs humming at full blast.
How many samples on average?
Your electricity bill.
It was all over the place. There's some difficult scenes I had to throw like 3,000 samples at it, and then others that were I was usually around 1,000 for most of the easy scenes. But yeah, there's some where I was just getting so many hot pixels on the chrome flares and stuff using a mix between suns and HDRIs that were super bright, and like trying to balance that was a bit difficult. But samples did it, just blasted it.
4K or HD?
I just did HD, man. When I knew I only had like 2 months to do the whole project, I'm like, I'm not doing 4K. Like, they were cool with it, and I did it at 24 FPS too, because I'm just like, that saves me like 1,000.
Right, that's true.
It's gonna add up.
It's true. That's the best reason to do 24.
Joel's gonna hate that when he goes to do his live show. He's gonna be like, "Why didn't you do this at 30, you asshole?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do this at 60?
Yeah. I told him, I was like, "Look, I can like just let it run and re-render those Cinema 4D projects at 60, and just
That's true.
do it at night,
Yeah.
on his 2 boxes if he wants."
Yeah.
But
Were you doing like? So you said you were kind of like filling time, like you were like, okay, well, we've got this section right here, we got to fill this time, and would you do like multiple shots? Would you have it kind of set down to the frame? Like, how would you go about that?
Not at all. No, it's like some shots, I would like, I knew I wanted to do the roll up and walking shots, but sometimes I would let the car walk down the street for 600 frames, 500 frames, and then I would like let it render overnight, because I was getting some pretty fast render times, and I'm like, whatever, 600 frames, if I only use 200, that's great. So then I would just do all this crazy camera work and like, make it look cool in the viewport and like let it go, and then I'd use the best 40% of it or something like that. Same with like that Pomegranate world. I like had the car just go down the spline, and I set up some like 1,000 frame renders and just like had the camera just going nuts all around it, and then just pick what spots look cool in the edit later. So I had the luxury, even though I was on a tight timeline and stuff, I still like to edit like that and just, let stuff rip, and you get some happy accidents in the camera work that you don't even see in the viewport at first.
Yeah.
Especially when you got octane scatters, and there's going to be mistakes that you don't see unless you like go frame by frame and look through. So, and sometimes it's like literally I'm building stuff all day long, and I finally have a scene done ready to render, because every night I'd be like, I need to render at night. I can't. I did some stuff where I'd be like still working on my machine and just render on the slaves during the day, but my main workflow is like build a scene all day, get it ready to render, and then render at night, next day check it out. So I was like, you're in that last hour of exhaustion at like 2 a.m. You're like, I just got to render something. I'm not going to look and make sure everything's cool. Just let it rip and see what happens.
That's funny.
But yeah, but then also like along the way, like so stuff like the rubber duck scene at the end, like that wasn't planned. I was like, oh, what can I put in this water? After David sent me the scene, I'm like, oh, there's some cool spot to put some garbage in here or whatever. And then I was like, I'll throw a rubber duck in. And then I was like, oh, I got the duck guy, put him dancing on there. It was just like an afterthought that you just kind of like throw out there, and it was a quick scene to put together. And like, so that kind of stuff I like to, because that's where you're still having fun while you're producing. If it's all, I'm a believer, like if it's totally planned out, like production's no fun anymore after. Like you're just sitting there like doing what you already know needs to get done, and you're just pushing the project up a hill until it's done. And then it's actually like, I look forward to waking up and coming and working on it if I can still be creative, So I think it's important to carve that out a little bit,
because you can be like, oh, what if we did this? It's funny because when I saw the duck scene and the duck in the water, and then you zoom in to the duck dancing on the duck, I was specifically in that moment thinking, was that scripted and planned, or is that just a random thing?
Yeah. I think that's why people are like, you get all those comments like, what the hell's going on here? And it's because you can't really plan a lot of that stuff. A lot of it just comes from, random experimentation and messing around the timeline. And I started out as like a remix artist doing video remix stuff of just playing around in Premiere, dumping an audio sample into Cubase, bringing that back into Premiere, going into After Effects, just messing around on the timeline until it's done. So I've always liked to work a little bit like that too on commercial projects and leave room to mess around, because it's fun.
Yeah.
I love
when I'm allowed.
I love the texturing on some of this stuff, man. I mean, even when you look at like, is this stuff that you came up with, or was it pre-made? Like, obviously the helmets are probably You know.
Yeah, I made all those helmets. The bodies are like actually the female body. It's the same body with different textures on it for all of them. I kind of went lazy there with the characters, so they all have the same body type. But yeah, that dude, the duck body there is a race car suit I bought off of 3D Scan Store on 1024. And I brought it into ZBrush and remeshed it, and then gave it like normal and displacement map that was like 16K or something, or I maxed it out, or 8K I think. And then so we could do those close zoom ups and get the hands looking cool. And yeah, and then I brought the rig and rigged it in the Mixamo character rig, the Mixamo control rig rather, and we used that for the interior of the car too, because you got all those hand controls, like for the fingers to all close at once, and that came in super handy for all the button pushing and grabbing, and it was super easy. And then a lot of the character animation, like those dolphins on that dolphin mobile, I did like all the character animation with signal. Like I put like signal tags on all the bones of the spine, and then I set it to the BPM. It was like 99 beats per minute or something. Then you offset each spine bone with like, a rotation on the P axis, and it just starts like doing that thing, and the head you offset it by an extra 4 or 5 frames, and you got these cool bops going on, and it kind of is easy to make characters dance that way without keyframing. So I would just set these rigs up and let it rip, and then, like I said, do camera motion around them and cut it as needed later. So it's kind of a handy, fast way to do character animation with Signal. And we use Signal. Oh, what's that? We use Signal for everything too. All the blinking lights and all the it's just, and the wings flapping, all that was all Signal. Everything Signal. I use it for just about everything. That teeth thing was Signal too. I just
What about on the helmets? Did you use? There's a lot of smoothing and stuff. Did you just straight model it? Did you use any like random?
Joel had a helmet. Joel had a helmet like all. Because back when I did his other videos, it was like pretty crappy with no UVs and everything. But he had a new one made with perfect UVs and stuff unwrapped. And then I just deleted the ears, and I think I actually Z-remeshed just the head because his was all like integrated with a weird. I retopologized just the head without ears, and then I did act like the dolphins. I kind of did from scratch. I actually modeled that with the blowholes and everything, super low poly, and it was all subdivided. It depends on the helmet, but most of it was just like, throw a watermelon on there and a Boolean and, start cutting out the mouth and match the other helmet. But I just kind of blasted those up. Like I just did a whole one big long day and just made as many helmets as I could. And there was like probably another, I don't know, 5 or 10 that I didn't even use, like character heads. Like, so.
Any Easter eggs that you're particularly fond of?
Yeah.
There's the obvious one, the Octane wheels. I had to give Jules a shout out there. And the Octane team was super helpful too, like with my computer issues and just stuff in general. Like we were using the render network too for all the stuff that Davey did, all the interior stuff. He just uploaded it to render, and we downloaded from there. So Joel, I guess, had like tons of render network credits, but we couldn't access them. His account was screwed up or whatever, and we were trying to get these like free render credits, and I told Jules, and Jules was like, no, don't worry about it, and he like hooked me up with a bunch of credits to do the project. So he was super helpful. So I was like, I'm gonna throw some Octane wheels on this car. on the creepy van.
That's the first thing I thought when I was like, that has to be an Octane thing for sure. It's not a coincidence.
No. Actually, Noseman helped me out with that too. He did like he bought like remodeled it. He was helping me do like kind of soft body things with the tires and remodeled the because I just extruded the logo and it was kind of all screwed up, and he did it all nice. So he helped out too a little bit. And I'm trying to think of other Easter eggs. I mean, it's all there's nothing super secret, mind control stuff in there, but. There's a lot of stuff, like a lot of details that didn't even I'm like, why did I spend all this time? Like if you look under the motor scoop there's like all these wires and hoses I put in there, and I'm like, you can't even see that in any shot. Like, I spent like an hour on that, and there's tons of stuff like that. But I think it shows, like even just doing the spaceship modification, I did spend a lot of time on those rocket boosters in the back end, and there was a couple days of modeling there.
Yeah, super
messing
detailed.
around.
Yeah, they look good.
What about the car model itself? Did you get those?
So, that's a 77 Cadillac. What, Eldorado or
just
something?
Your
I forget.
Basic Turbo Squid model, or?
Yeah, And it was like, I was worried at first. I'm like, how do I get, because I didn't want to use just crappy generic cars, but Turbo Squid lets you, or they actually talk to Ford and GM and get proper permission to use it. So you say what the use is, and they let me use those cars. So I was able to get actual Ford and GM cars rocking. So that was cool.
That's nice.
So yeah,
super cool.
But that one took a lot of work. I mean, I did some painting and substance. I had to get those UVs, rocking. So I unwrapped those in Blender, and then everything else obviously in Cinema 4D. But yeah, there was a lot of optimization because models don't come ready to do all those transformations out of Turbo Squid most of the time. So there's a lot of, and the interior of the car is actually a 1984 Corvette, which is the car I own. So we like hybrided those together because it was a cool interior compared to the old Cadillac one. It had more of a lame-o futuristic vibe with all those panels and stuff. So it was more conducive to do with all the control stuff we wanted to do with it. So
beautiful.
And
yeah, that was a fun.
The question in the chat is, was this direct lighting or path tracing?
All path tracing, pretty much everything in the whole video is path tracing, yeah.
But with like adaptive sampling and GI clamp all the way down, or just
yeah. I'm in the Octane Jesus school of set your GI clamp to 1 and you're
exactly.
Which I'm like, why isn't that the default?
Why isn't that the default?
It makes a big difference. Like it really does. Like you just switching from to path tracing, you just get so much more light on things,
and just like, and the specular or the stuff like the chromes and the reflections, you can crank them up higher and they look way better. And light bouncing in general, it's just and glass, anything with glass, like I don't think you couldn't pull this off with all the cars in glass with direct lighting nearly as good. You can crank up your sample bounces, but it's not the same. So but yeah.
Now, on some of these scenes, like even the ones at the beginning with the outdoor city and all that, is that models you bought as well? How did you go about?
Yeah, so David actually bought a city and started out with, like a pretty, but it wasn't like super quite detailed enough because I probably should have given him better direction because I knew I wanted to use like one small city block for all that action, but he actually built me a huge city, which was super handy too. So he kind of did the broad strokes of like making this massive thing that I could look down the street and there'd be a mountain of trees off in the distance and you could see all the buildings. So I could do any direction, in this scene. Like it wasn't limited to one camera angle or anything like that, but it was cool. So, but then I was like, I actually want to put some funny businesses in there, like that brain hole one and stuff. So I bought like a single block of New York City buildings that were like 4 or 5 buildings, and just did those up as funny businesses and use that as like a direct backdrop. And then I did a few other buildings like that bank down the road, and where I modified the buildings that David had built. But yeah, so it was kind of a collabo there. I just kind of built on it so I could do some more detailed push-ins in that certain area and then still piggyback off his larger scene. So, but yeah, there was quite a bit of money spent on models for this project just because the cars add up and all that stuff,
Right. Sure. Yeah, those can't be cheap.
Yeah, you end up spending a couple $100 at least for some of the good ones, but yeah, it's cool. The originally we were going back and forth with Pharrell and the Neptunes, and they were like, I had an old car like this in the beginning when they were supposed to be in it. I was going to have all 3 of them in it. We were going to use, kind of try and make 3D cartoon versions of them in it and stuff like that. And they decided they just wanted to be like ominous, like this, the planet Neptune. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But they wanted like a more futuristic car. And I started doing that. And I'm like, I don't know, having a futuristic car with these futuristic mods isn't as cool as having like an old classic car with the futuristic mods and weird, surreal stuff. So I kind of went back and reverted to a classic car. I think it kind of just looked better all around with all these.
Yeah, I agree.
How much of a say did they have in it then?
That was literally it. Like the suggestion of a futuristic car and that they wanted to be Neptune.
So you basically just ignored it.
I guess. No, because I was like, they're not in it anymore. So I said, does it matter what kind of car we have now that they're not in it? And they said, yeah, no, it's cool. So it was all fine. Yeah, I know we went back, but I didn't totally ignore them. But yeah, then and he actually sent a picture of Neptune that was like the blue planet. So went with that. But yeah, they were pretty hands off and dug it. So I mean, it was great. Because I was worried about that. I'm like, I know Joel's going to be cool because he doesn't care. He'll let me do my thing.
Right.
But I was like, are we going to get notes when I have like 4 days to do revisions and
Yeah.
you want to change something like on that portal and I have to re-render 2,000 frames and,
Right.
you know, it could be a nightmare. But no, everybody was totally cool. It was great. 0 revisions.
Yeah, Arya was talking
Yeah.
about, because he did this scene too, or the
Yeah.
environment.
That was
right?
actually, that's the only environment that I just used straight up. It was like perfect. He nailed it. Like, not that his other ones weren't perfect, but I wanted to like, I added and
You
messed
wanted
with
to
the other one.
Smearballs
Right.
it up.
Yeah.
To smear it up. But no, this one was just amazing out of the box. I remember seeing some roughs and he had some water going and I was like, I don't know, maybe the water's not going to be realistic enough. And then I ended up putting the water back in because it looked cool with the camera flying over it. And yeah, it was great.
That's the
Out of
funny
box,
thing.
it was
He was like, I built the environment, but Nick did all his classic crazy camera moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of went nuts with that stuff. This one was like probably my favorite scene with all the nature stuff. It was fun to do, and that limo was fun to
Quixel,
rig. So I
right?
rigged. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I rigged all that stuff with the limo. That's just a spline wrap. So I had all the
Cool.
arms rigged
cool.
and then
Hmm.
slapped it on a spline and let it rip. I had a hard time getting motion blur working with that though. It was a bit of a nightmare, but
Were you
Adding-
doing
kinda
all the
faked it.
motion blur in camera?
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah. This was the only shot I used RSMB. It
Okay.
was like,
Oh,
yeah, the only
How much?
tricky one.
How much did you do any compositing, or were you just like straight out of the box?
Almost none, man. I just did some Lumetri and After Effects, and that was it. The only compositing I did was the spaceship one when the motors go into the trunk, like when it transforms or come out.
uh-huh.
I couldn't hide that, and I wasn't gonna put some Boolean thing on there to like,
Yeah.
crush it. It wouldn't. So I just actually did 2 render passes with that and comped it so that you didn't see the motors coming in. But that was the only like masking or compositing anything I had to do. So
Cool.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
put
it was
a
all straight out of-
boolean on, and all of a sudden it starts like acting
freaking
up
out with
and
like textures. Yeah.
a couple weird
Yeah.
random frames where it doesn't bull for some reason, and
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's everything was looking awesome out of the can with Octane. Just a little bit of color correction, but that's
Mhm.
about it. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, that insect one was super fun.
Yeah.
I think I did mess with that one a little bit. I think I recreated a scene for that last shot with the foot stomp. Like I put another mushroom in there that was like full textured, full res, and did a little thing there. But that's about it.
What about HDRs for the sky?
Pretty much everything was the HDRI Sky Pack from Grayscale Gorilla. That was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I think
It's
every
so
shot.
super high res.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very nice.
I use them for everything. And the space one too is actually one that they made because I told Chad back at NAB or something. I was like, dude, you should make a space HDRI pack
Mm-hmm.
because it's like
Mhm.
people would use that all the time. And they made one and it's not out yet, but I got a sneak peek. So I've been using it on stuff. So
Oh,
look out for
dude.
that because I actually love it. They made these beautiful nebula, backgrounds, and it's pretty awesome. So
I wonder
I
if
would,
Sean had something to do with it, because Sean did the
Yeah.
original pack.
Sean
in
did the
Corona.
skies. Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he did. No, I don't think it was Corona.
thought
I think it was a gosh, it's a program that's specifically made for making skies,
Oh,
I thought
and you
I
can
swore
render
he
them
used
out at
Corona.
like 16K or something like
Ah.
that.
I thought
Yeah.
that they were all like VDBs that were placed and then they rendered it out at
I
32.
don't know.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't Corona that he was rendering them out. I mean, he might have rendered them. I don't know.
They're just so high res, and you just can't get that, even if you're going out and shooting.
Oh, you need a
can't-
crazy camera for
Yeah.
that. Like,
Like
Yeah.
you don't want to use like the 360 camera, because that's not even enough res. You got to do like
No.
mirror ball, bracketed, all of that kind of crap.
Ozone.
yeah, most of
Ozone.
there are some, well, maybe they're 8K ones. Those like array ball 360 cams, right? With like 12 cameras on them. I think I've seen some that do 8K HDRIs, but I haven't seen 16K ones.
And even when you
Not
do
that
that, then
super
you
in the-
still have like the environment. You have your horizon and
Yeah.
everything else. You don't get the
Yeah.
whole thing. So
You can do some rubber stamping.
yeah.
Go on the top of a mountain, shoot it, and then rubber stamp it.
Right.
I have a question for you. This is what I've been trying to figure out. At the beginning of the music video, when you hear that high pitched, like purposely, auto-tuned something or other, what in the world is he saying right there?
So I think it says "sparkle for you" or something, or sparkle something. Everyone thinks it's "smoke a fat doob."
I thought it was "smoke a bunch of weed" or something like that.
Yeah, there's a lyric video online that I was like, so they hit me up and they're like, "Yo, we're gonna need a clean version and an explicit version." I was like, "What are you talking about? There's no swear words in this whole song. I've listened to it 1,000 times for 2 months, and I'm like, there's no swear words in it." And they're like, "Yeah, he says the F word in there somewhere." So there's a line that doesn't sound like it at all. But there's an F-bomb in there. I'm like, okay, whatever. You guys could have just pretended it was some other word and not had an awkward radio edit.
Right. Seems like a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I always thought it was "smoke a fat bee."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, it's "sparkle for me" or "sparkle for you" or something. Yeah, "sparkle for me."
Sure it is.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's why I was like, maybe I'll throw that duck vaping there, so it's like throws people off on the lyrics,
right?
Confuses things a little more, you know.
Man, so much work, dude.
Yeah.
You've got a behind the scenes that you did with Joel, right?
Yeah, so we did a little chat, and you know, he gave me a hard time about almost wrecking his computer, and yeah, it was cool. I'm trying to think if there's any other like crazy, you know, production things with this, but it was pretty much just brute force render punch, throwing frames at it.
He was joking about phone it in, Aria phone it in.
Yeah, so I was like, what is, I guess that was an inside joke when you guys were there.
Yeah.
It was what was the original one? The original one was Try Hard Jesus, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it was Phone It In
Jesus. Because he figured out some like fast way to do something. I don't remember what it was, but
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool that he was able to jump in on this project, and my pal Davey too, because it was just like I was shaking in my boots at first of like, how am I going to get this done without crewing up? And then everybody was kind of like, you know, David said he could only do weekends, and then Davey could only give me a month, and I'm like, is that enough? I don't really know. Yeah. And I actually had another music video on the go while I was doing that, or while that one came up, and I had to put it on hold and like kind of swing back to it after again because it was just crazy scheduling. But luckily that band was cool.
Did you feel like building a lot of the elements first really helped? Like, because I can imagine as you're building these elements and stuff, you're like, okay, I know how I'm going to use this. I have a feeling I know how. So yeah. So you kind of create this the storyboard in your mind as you're creating all the elements.
Like early on, I made that limousine and insect, and I'm like, I know I can milk that for like hundreds of frames because it can just like you know, swing through. And at first I was like, oh, I'm gonna have it coming out of like a hole in a tree. I don't know. I had all these like plans I didn't even do, but by that point I had rigged up the snail thing, and I'm like, okay, I get some frames out of that too. And it's just kind of you're right. So it's just kind of build stuff and then like not be worried about that sequence. So like then I was like, okay, I got enough characters and things that I can make some eye candy for that entire micro sequence. And I, even though I hadn't even seen the environment yet or anything, but I shared those assets with David. I was like, dude, I got these things and I want, you know, that limousine thing to squirrel around your scene. Build something cool that would work with that, you know? So there was enough stuff from the get-go that I could pass it to him and he could take that into account and design. So yeah. And but yeah, it was just great just because you're just building this pile of assets and it starts, you know, the ideas start coming from that. So
it's a snowball effect.
Yeah. Assets that you've built that you are kind of sad that you didn't get to use.
I guess some of the characters I had some like, you know, metal knight character. I was gonna have him riding a horse or something. I never used that guy. I had some like dude with a plunger on his head. I was gonna make some weird toilet car. And I also didn't want to go too weird or gross because like, you know, Pharrell and Chad, like Joel would be cool with it, but you know, it's like, when you got like, you know, some other heavy hitter artists in this, I probably can't get away with the poo stains on people's underwear.
Right.
Chicken skin scrotums. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So actually we had the chicken car. that pizza car was a chicken car at first for the chicken character, and it was gonna be chicken skin on the outside of the car, like raw. But I don't know. We went with feathers, and I was like, pizza car's cooler, so I just changed it at the last minute. But,
That's funny.
Where'd you get like the pizza texture and stuff from?
I just made it. I just got a tileable pizza texture, and just like I took a normal map in Photoshop, and then the inverse normal map, and then I just kind of like erased between the two of them to make the right things pop out based on that. So I just did that, and it looked pretty good.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I noticed there was actual like bump map or normal mapping on the pepperonis.
There's displacement. There's displacement on there, I think, too.
I wonder if he actually made that, or if that's something you could buy.
Yeah, I made it, but somebody should make a better one, because I think it would be very popular. Nice pizza texture. Everyone could use that.
Yeah, of course. It's
When
delicious.
When I first saw this music video, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, there's so many opportunities for action figures.
Yeah,
right.
Like, be able to make action figures with all of these little characters and stuff, you know.
I think Joel's already on it. Like he sent me some mock-ups, like illustrations of the characters kind of redone. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna actually roll with these things. I think so.
That's funny.
Kind of cool, because it is a cool world of weirdo characters.
Yeah, he sells all the pins and everything at all of his concerts and stuff, you know. So I mean, there's so much. It's very marketable.
Yeah,
you know?
that was kind of by design. I wanted to make something too that would have some legs that way and have cool, you know.
Dude,
even how we did the character renders for the promo with the mug shots and stuff.
I saw that. Yeah, that was cool.
Dude, I'm telling you, the duck character, dude, Fortnite character next season.
Yeah,
oh, right.
Wouldn't that and he's already gotten in with them, right? Because he's done a concert in there. Like,
sure, yeah.
Seems like a no-brainer. A dead mouse duck character on the.
Oh, knowing him, he's just gonna do his own racing game or something, or like Fortnite style game with these characters.
It's like Rocket League mixed with Battle Royale.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
That'd be cool, actually.
Yeah. I would love to see an 80s action figure commercial, like Ninja Turtles or something, made with them to advertise it.
That'd be pretty funny. Yeah. The I really wish I could have gone a little bit crazier with the characters had I had more time, you know, like make different body types and different outfits and go a little more unique. But I was like, I can just change the color and get some mileage out of these outfits. I went the easy route. But when you got a time like that, you got to take some shortcut.
Yeah, plus race car drivers, they all kind of look the same. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah. So, and you could do it next time. You get a part 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So while I was before I did this video too, I had this other music video I was working on with a guy, you know, Young Gun Motion on Instagram. He's like,
not sure.
He's another Toronto guy. Does some super cool stuff, and so we teamed up on this other music video for this French band called the Naive New Beaters, who I had never heard of, but they had some cool videos. So I agreed to do this video before the Dead Mouse thing. And I took my Jeep and I put my camera in the back of the Jeep on early COVID days. And just shot straight out of the back of the Jeep with the window open. And just shot like long shots right in the middle of the city, like with no people on it anywhere. So I've got these like 3-minute shots with nobody there. And then the band got 3D scanned in France, and they sent me the files, and I did all this like animation, and then Joe got in on the project, and we both kind of teamed that. So
is that one online right now?
Not yet. No, it's still coming
out.
Wow, so
his stuff is weird. It's like your stuff mixed with Chris Cunningham.
Yeah, he does cool. He does a lot of cool Houdini stuff too.
What's it called again?
Young Gun Motion.
Young Gun Motion. Yeah.
So you can look out for that in the future. I can't show anything yet because it's not out yet, but it's a cool project we got cooking.
Yes. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at right now. EJ and Aryev are like in our group text. I asked them if they had any questions. Well, mainly EJ. I'm sure David Aryev knows how he did his own.
Yeah. How awesome are the backgrounds? How awesome are the environments? They're really awesome. Great job.
It's a really good piece. Do you have you got any personal projects you want to do coming up?
Right now, I mean, there's always stuff I want to do, but
other than just digging holes.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm just doing some renos and cleanup around here, but I just want to get back into the Houdini thing and get that skill set nailed down so I can start messing around. And I'll probably do a bunch of little experiments while I'm learning that. So I mean, that's kind of high on the priority list. But I mean, I still want to circle back now to like that chickening style of remix thing, and do it even crazier now that I have all these 3D skills, because that was way back like 6 years ago or something. So I would like to kind of revisit that and take some time off, but I've already got some sharks circling to hire me in September, October, so I don't know if I'm going to get a prolonged break. So right now I'm focusing on taking a rest and maybe learning a bit of Houdini and chilling a little bit. So
it helps your creativity to do that.
Yeah, take a break. Well, you can't do 14, 18-hour days for 100 days in a row. You got to stop. Take a breather. It's cool.
How often, like, so I mean, you're a very niche artist. I mean, your work is very noticeable. It's like you see it and you're like, okay, that's Smearballs.
Right.
Like the same with like Syriac. You see Syriac's work, you're like, oh, that's Syriac. I know exactly. Sure. It's like, so do you get a lot of people reaching out to you specifically because they know your work and they know your style?
Yeah, I think so. Like it's usually pretty direct. I'm sure you guys know too. Once you put something out there, someone else sees it and they're like, oh, I want that, or like they have the imagination to apply your style to whatever they're selling, so that works a lot. But I mean, I always wondered about that. I'm like, really, is it that obvious that it's mine? Even though like, I used to do all that 2D After Effects stuff and then switched over to 3D, but people still say that, oh, that's obviously your work. So I guess there's some sensibilities outside of just the straight up visual techniques that are there that are obvious. I don't know. I try and put my finger on what's so obvious about it. Like things like, I guess, the crazy camera work and whatever else, but that wasn't there when I was doing the After Effects stuff as much. But I don't know. But yeah, people come to me for all kinds of weird reasons, but luckily there's a pretty wide net. Like I've been doing a lot of advertising work, the KFC stuff and things like that, which are, sometimes still crazy, sometimes not as crazy, but I'm glad that I've found lots of applications to do this stuff, whether it's music videos, advertising, feature film, VFX, whatever. So I've kind of been fortunate to, that there's enough weirdos that want my weird stuff on their project.
Like the whole KFC meditation thing that you did, like to me, it's like, no offense, but what a weird thing for a company to do, especially a fast food company, and that was what, like 20 minutes long?
Well, it was more than half an hour of content, but like there was one 9-minute hero video and then a whole bunch, like it was an album of like meditation tracks, right? It was all like audio. So there's one main video that we put all the resources towards, then a whole bunch of like psychedelic videos on top of that. That added up to be about 36 minutes, I think.
That's crazy.
Done in 12 days.
Oh.
Like, yeah. But like I probably said before, a lot of it, like other than the 9-minute video, the rest of it was mostly done in Resolume with that like real time, VJ software. Right. So that was how we pull up. But even doing a 9-minute video in 12 days is insane. Like I look back at that project, and it was another one where I was doing 20-hour days and stuff. I'm just like, it was insane. And as were the other guys working here at my studio, and I was just like, that doesn't seem possible that we did that. But sometimes the magic happens and it all works out. Other times, same with this Deadmau5 video. It's like some days I'd be like, wow, I did a whole day and I just solved like 4 problems and I didn't get hardly anything rendered. And then other days you just plow through and you get so much done. It's really random. And I find it really with 3D too. With 2D After Effects stuff, I could always quote jobs. I knew exactly how many days it would take. I knew exactly how many hours it would take. It was like no big deal. Now with this 3D stuff, there's, you can get caught up in so many things that just like blow a whole day away or something, so it definitely gets harder to quote projects. You get
into Houdini and you get all the particle sounds,
God,
simulations and stuff
even just doing soft body stuff and whatever, the few things that I've learned so far, I'm just like, oh my God. And actually Joe, Young Gun Motion, on this other music video, he was doing a bunch of Houdini stuff and getting trapped for like, a whole day on some shot. And I'm like, oh my God, welcome to Houdini.
Right.
I'm sure it's like anything else. Once you get good at it, you're faster, and it's just
Did it run them
Yeah.
sims? I mean, I did something with X particles and TFD in it the other day, and it was like 21 gig and caching of 30-second
Wow.
simulation, and it's like, oh my
Mhm.
god.
Yeah, it adds up. Have you guys tried that EmberGen
Oh, I
stuff
was
yet?
just about to
Yeah.
say that
Yeah?
EmberGen though.
Yeah.
I haven't
I'm-
tried it. I haven't.
Oh
checked
man.
yet, but I'm excited to. Looks
Yeah,
cool.
once you get into it, everything you have is gonna have smoke in it, or
Yeah,
fire or
right.
something. You know,
Everything needs smoke. You need.
yeah,
smoke,
right.
Yeah.
You know.
More
Smoke
Doesn't have
starts.
smoke, put smoke on it.
Yeah. That's
And
it's fast.
awesome.
Like it's just like
Yeah.
Real
Is
time.
it like? Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely insane. So the cool thing is, like, you go through and you like make all your tweaks and stuff. You find something that you like, and then you're like, all right, sweet, export these frames as a VDB.
Mhm.
Done.
Wow. And
You
you can
know?
put other objects that it reacts with and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yes,
It
but
will
not-
only do stationary
Yeah.
objects right now. It won't do
Okay.
actual animated objects. You know.
Still, that's
But-
huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
But see, I don't understand that whole thing with the animated objects, because you can take an object in EmberGen and move it around and it reacts. You just can't
Yeah.
actually animate it that way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
It's coming. I think it's just something
Yeah.
they're still working on, right?
You think
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it does it in the real-time viewport, it
Yeah.
could. If it's processing that data, you should be able to record that data somehow.
Yeah.
I don't. It's just not out there yet, I guess. But that's
Yeah.
that's something I played with this week. I really loved that, and I can imagine, you know, you work in an interface like that, and it's foreign, because
Mhm.
it's just different. You know, it's got some nodes and things like that. And you're like, okay, I get this. But some of the sliders, some of the things, you're just like, okay, I just want this to be in Cinema 4D, so I can have my native things that I'm used to, you know, and all of that. So
When people are contacting you for work and stuff, where do you get contacted the most?
Just email.
Yeah.
Probably from my website, I imagine. Yeah. Just
And
people
are-
looking it up.
Are you getting a lot of jobs? Like, say for example, we'll just take KFC for example. You
Mhm.
know, it could be anyone, but like I'm sure KFC isn't the one going to you. It's probably
No,
like
it's
some marketing company or something.
It's Wyden Kennedy, the big ad agency. So they've
Mhm.
they've
Okay.
been my biggest client for years now. As far as
Yeah.
you know, I think I've done 7 KFC projects and 2
Wow.
Old Spice projects for them. Like it's or 3 Old Spice projects, I think. I don't know, but yeah. So that's been a huge client of mine. You know, and
Yeah.
advertising just kind of pays way more than music videos and other things like
course,
that
yeah.
too. So it's like,
do you talk to? Have you ever talked to Craig Allen? Craig Allen, over at
don't know Craig Allen.
he's at that agency you were just talking
At
about. What's
Wyden
it
Kennedy?
called? Kennedy, yeah.
Yeah, Wyden Kennedy. No, he in Portland.
I don't know where he is now, to tell you the truth. He
Yeah.
was in Portland. He was
Yeah.
doing. He's the one who came up with the "I'm on a horse" thing. So
Oh,
I didn't
yeah,
know
yeah,
if you
yeah.
had,
Cool.
had talked to him.
Oh
or
yeah,
not.
I know who that guy is. Yeah, yeah. He's a director, right?
He
Or,
does a ton of. He started out in writing, and now he started his own agency. I don't know where he's at, because I haven't talked to him in a while. But he's actually from Grand Prairie, where I live. He went to
Cool.
the rival school growing up on the north
Ooh.
side of town. Yeah, yeah.
It's funny.
So
Yeah, but there's a massive team there, and I mean they have offices all over the world. So, but a lot of the Old Spice people who are doing that crazy Old Spice stuff back in the day moved on to the KFC team. So it's kind of
Mhm.
that same sensibility of crazy stuff. So that's
Yeah.
kind of worked in my favor for sure.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So,
I just don't. I have no idea how you sell that. You know, how do you convince someone to do a 36-minute, meditation video on chicken?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, hey, well, that was pitched as a late night Adult Swim
Mhm.
infomercial time slot buy, right? So they were like, hey, because the problem was chicken pot pies. The only people that ate them were old people.
Yeah.
Right. Well, again, when those chicken pies at the KFC, I was
Yeah.
like, we don't even have those in Canada. Like, they don't even
Yeah,
sell
see,
them here. I've never heard
I-
of them before.
I've
And-
tried to get them several
It's
times,
funny.
but they're almost always out.
Yeah.
They'll make you go to
So-
sleep right away.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
So I guess this was their way of trying to get the young whippersnappers to start buying some chicken pies. So
Yeah.
Did they actually
Or-
buy infomercials? Like,
no, it didn't work out. I mean, it was going
Oh.
to be like millions of dollars for a slot or something. I don't know what it was, but it's like crazy TV ad buy. So I don't know if it worked out. I don't think it did, or maybe they did a shorter commercial or something out of it. But
Yeah.
I think it just went on the web. But yeah, but I think that Wyden Kennedy gets kind of carte blanche with their clients. Like for Old Spice, it was kind of like I can't think of too many revisions we've got from the clients. They just kind of like trust the agency to do their thing, and I think that's part of the deal. Is like, hey, we're gonna do some crazy shit for your brand, and you have to trust us. And they get it. You know, they've got that reputation. They took Old Spice, which was like a failing company, and did all that years of craziness, and it boomed it back to prominence. So
I use Old Spice deodorant.
There you go. I have so much free stuff. I have like 100 years worth of Old Spice. I've done all these projects and like they give me boxes of product to shoot, and I'm like, this stuff expired now or what?
Yeah, it's old
like
Old Spice now.
Yeah.
Old Spice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I left some in LA the last time when we shot that. We did a crossover post with the KFC Colonel Sanders, the virtual influencer guy, and Old Spice. So there was like co-branding there, and they sent like a giant box of product to put in the bathroom with the shot. I'm just like, what do I do with this? I'm just leaving it here. Sorry.
That's funny.
Put it in the museum.
Hey, the perks of the job.
The Smearballs Museum.
Yeah.
You just do it for the deodorant, right?
yeah.
The whole review.
The cool free stuff. I got a Colonel Sanders mask too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Got this guy.
You just wear that, put on your deodorant.
Right.
Yeah. It's cool, man. Just a load up with
so hard.
swag.
Just sweating.
Yeah. Is most of the work that they pitch like kind of off the wall and weird like that?
I've done some more normal things for them, I guess, but they've all been pretty weird for sure. They come to me for the boring stuff, I guess. But there's most of them have been pretty weird. I did one that was like I guess it was a little bit more normal, but it was like an invention thing where they did KFC Innovation Labs. That was like all these like there's like a KFC bucket hot tub and like all these different inventions that you kind of had to vote on to see which one they made. So it was pretty kind of low budget, but we made the best of it and made a cool little project on it was not Kickstarter. What's the other one?
Indiegogo,
I think. Yeah. And so then that was a whole kind of campaign that was a little more chill, but it was also weird. Like the KFC inventions were useless, weird things you would never want to own. You know, it was more just about brand recognition again with this weird purpose. But they've done all kinds of stuff. Like they made a D&D board game, I think, for KFC. They've done like just all kinds of weird stuff. So
that's funny.
Yeah,
that's really
board
cool.
Game about chicken.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
It's cool. People want to role play as Colonel Sanders or whatever,
right?
You know?
Right.
But yeah, so that's pretty. I don't know. I guess people. That one is just kind of. I think I did a really good job in the first couple projects for them. Made some relationships to that agency, and that's kind of flourished into many years of cool projects. So I mean, and a lot of that happens too. I have a lot of repeat clients that come back and add people that get a new job at another agency and still work with me or whatever else. So I mean, you know, once you've been doing this stuff for a decade or two, it kind of you get those people circle back. Yeah. And I've obviously got guys like Joel and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Keeps coming back. More weirdness.
Yeah. How's he holding up with COVID? Is he? I mean, you can't tour, so
he's making the most of it, man. I mean, he's rocking Unreal Engine and building that crazy stuff of his live set, which is pretty awesome. Like, I went over there the other day. He had like some like cow with soft body dynamics getting hit by some other animals and all these weird cats running around his set. And I'm like, dude, you're killing it, man. This is gonna be awesome, whatever the hell it is. But yeah, and then I mean, him and Malcolm just finished that new piece of software for live controlling.
What's it called?
Touch designer stuff. OSC Pilot, I think, or something like that. And it's pretty interesting. So, but yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever used Touch Designer, but the guy who made it, Malcolm, is a pretty awesome dude, and he makes he works. He's one of the programmers on Touch Designer, so it's a cool UI. Thing. Yeah, you can make all these custom sliders and like.
It's what he's been using for his concerts, right? Yeah.
Oh,
but Joel actually just announced that he's doing a live show here in Toronto at a drive-in.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard of a lot of people, a lot of bands are actually starting to do this now. Where they'll actually play at drive-ins instead of actual music venues, which is cool.
Check that out in a couple of weeks. It's down on the waterfront, so that'll be cool to see.
A lot of people...
I think he's making the most of it, but like I mean, most musicians, like I don't know when a big concert's even gonna happen again, man. Like it's insane. Like I couldn't imagine like a summer EDM festival with like thousands of people being
Next
something
year,
that
I'm
would be.
sure it'll be out next year.
Yeah.
I'm sure everything. I keep saying by the end of the year, everything's going to be back to normal by January.
Yeah,
So.
maybe. We shall see.
Well,
When everyone
God, I
gets
hope
their
so.
hydrochloroquine, I just can't wait
Right.
to get the hydrochloroquine and just put it all behind me.
it's made with alien DNA.
Right.
Yeah,
Just go out into the sun. It'll bake right off.
yeah,
Right?
exactly.
That was my problem when I had coronavirus. I just didn't go outside enough.
Yeah.
No, a lot
But
of
this
people are
has,
doing
like,
those drive-in things, man. The dude from
drive-in strip clubs, isn't there in Texas? I saw like drive-in strip.
I think that might be true.
Mark
That's gotta be-
Rabillet was doing drive-through or drive-in performances. He's a guy who, when they did Reddit Live, that Reddit Live cable access thing, you know what I'm talking about? A trial of that weird like Reddit live video streaming. He got super popular on there. He's doing concerts and stuff now. He's incredibly talented.
I've seen tons of different companies even approach me about doing stuff in these game engines to like have a live performance. Like it seems like a lot of different people are trying to figure that out. And Joel's actually building his own from scratch, which
Not
is
surprising.
like crazy.
Yeah.
But other companies are building whole platforms for artists to do that, and you know, kind of try and do the Fortnite thing. Which, you know, it doesn't seem too hard. You got a video feed going in there and some cool geometry and like some kind of a stage setup, and people being able to create an avatar or make their own and go watch a live show. Like I can see that happening. But I also like, what are people going to pay a lot of money for that compared to going seeing you live? It still doesn't seem like a totally viable like thing, you know. But
plus, I think a lot of musicians make their money off of merchandise sales and stuff like that
Right.
in concerts, right? You know,
totally.
or make a fair amount of money.
Yeah. And his software is, you know, it's something that I think he was already kind of working with when, you know, he was showing us his touch designer integrations with Ableton and OSC and all of that. That looks like that's what this OSC pilot is doing. Is it's compatible.
It's a bridge for
Yeah.
And
there's a free trial you can download right now because it does like notch and everything. I would be interested in using it with, if you can, I wonder if you could use this with some sort of OSC control through Cinema 4D and Ableton, even if it's not live. But if you could take the music you're working on and have it drive things in Cinema 4D that you're rendering.
Yeah, but think about it, like once Brigade's out and it's fully real time, being able to create like a like an OSL shader or something like that would work with it.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be cool.
Looks super slick.
Yeah. It is pretty awesome. Like, so Touch Designer, I think it was originally made by like Side Effects, right? Like it's a Houdini branch off.
I think the two of them started, and then one of them wanted to get more into real time, and one of them wanted to get more into, you know,
it
effects.
is pretty cool software. I kind of keep like trying to think of a project I can use it for. I want to kind of mess with. I used to take like video samples in Resolume and map them to my keyboard so I could play like Mr. T making weird noises live and stuff like that. So it'd be kind of cool to like set up some video samples or animation stuff that you could trigger with MIDI and mess around with it. But that's kind of on my list. But Houdini and ZBrush are higher on my list, so I'm sticking with those for now.
Yeah, that's kind of why I haven't gotten too far into Touch Designer, because I haven't had the need for it. And we
exactly.
We got almost had a gig doing some stuff for SeaWorld a couple of years ago, and it was going to be this whole Touch Designer thing. Interactive.
You have some ethical hang-ups about working for SeaWorld, or are you cool with it?
Well, I mean, I guess we didn't get to the point where we had to think about it because it never really happened. But
I've done a few unethical jobs before, and I'm just like, all right.
I actually made a video for the whale and dolphin conservation effort in the UK. That was like against SeaWorld, because it was Richard Branson was selling like SeaWorld packages to like on Virgin Galactic, but he also claims to be like a steward of the sea and all these like, you know, whale saving endeavors. So they were we made this video kind of calling them out as a hypocrite, saying, hey, you're like saying you're saving the whales, but you're selling packages to SeaWorld and Virgin Galactic. So we made this video and it actually worked, and he stopped selling trips to SeaWorld.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Hey.
Yeah, you know,
Keep a whale in a little cage. It's weird.
we did a little video where we were. It was not a climate change denial, but it was a video saying that the research isn't in
basically
yet.
climate change denial.
Oh no!
Yeah.
It was basically climate change. It was a very good video. We did a very good job. But it's like, so what's the answer? We don't really know.
Right.
It's like, come on. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Wow. Just sowing a little disbelief out there.
Yeah. That one was an awful project to work on.
You're
Just
like-
the clients were like, they would wait like 2 months before getting us any word back, and it's like, come on.
Is it that long? I don't remember.
Otoy in the chat
Ooh,
says,
hello.
hi all. By the way, Brigade will be multi-GPU too, so you can scale it to UHD 8K 16K res
man.
at 60 plus from
That's
a single
pretty
machine.
crazy.
Jeez. Multiple display arrays can be synced with net render in theory. That's awesome.
Wow.
Jeez.
Man.
Is it gonna actually, would that kernel be able to throw more samples or bring the quality up to the path tracing kernel? Like, could you not get a
I
real
think
time
it is full path tracing in Brigade, right?
So I
don't know.
render straight out of it?
Yeah, it's the
Could you not just like?
You can't. I'm sure you could render straight out of it.
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
you? Yeah. It's
That's
just
cool.
it's a whole nother kernel.
Yeah,
It's
all we would
amazing.
need is a great, like, easy way to get that into other programs that would sync time code
It's
and
full path. It's full path.
Yeah, yeah.
because at that
Awesome.
point you're almost to what Unreal is doing,
Yeah.
right? And one of the other things is then if you then can get that Unreal 5 technology that everybody's going nuts over, so you got unlimited polygons essentially.
Polygon.
You've got real-time everything. You can sync it with everything. Then you just have to be able to sync it with motion tracking from cameras. You don't even need Unreal at that
Yeah.
point. You don't have to learn something new.
I don't even understand that full Unreal geometry thing that came out. I'm just like,
I
I
don't
just,
get it either.
it
Yeah.
seems crazy.
There's a great video on how it works a little bit more in detail, because before that video came out, everybody was just like, what is this sorcery? And it actually goes into the details of how it
Something like
works.
point clouds or point something, right? I don't know.
Rather than polys, it's actually
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, something maybe having to do with I mean, it's not LOD, but
Yeah.
it's kind of maybe in concept similar, if that
Ah.
makes any sense. But yeah.
that's cool.
Let's go to some links, unless you have something else you wanted to add here.
Yeah, hit some links. What do we got?
Got just a few links here. Number one, I wanted to talk about this. This is Graham Bucknell's new can roll C4D espresso rig. And this is something he sent a while back and said he was kind of working on this and wanted an opinion. I'm like, you need to do this, put this up on Gumroad and all those things. And I tried the initial version of it, and I gave a little bit of advice. I think it had to do with you should make a video on how to do this and whatnot. But this link, and I'll put this in the dingus for y'all as well,
Cool.
so you can check it out. This is, I'll bring it up on the screen here
roll.
so you can see what it looks like. So this is essentially a rig where you can drop things in and allow it to roll on a surface.
Oh, yeah.
But it's got
Cool.
splines and all these other options that you could put in, like variants and what does it say here?
That's pretty handy. That'd be good
Yeah,
for like car wheels and stuff too, right?
EJ and I
Yeah.
were actually trying to figure this out the other day. Like
Yeah.
he was asking me, how would you make a circle or a sphere roll across a surface and make sure that it's perfect,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And
Without dynamics, like actually
right.
draw it.
Like, and so I built a really easy espresso rig. I mean, it's not too hard when you understand, you know, the formula behind it. It's
yeah.
like what,
For the
2 pi r squared or something like
for
that.
the
you know?
dead mouse video, that's what I did. I actually took the
Mhm.
length of the spine and did like pi
Yep.
times the diameter and like
Yeah.
you know, and then figured out the rotations from that. And I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this.
Yeah, you
No,
just
I mean
need
that's
this rig.
that's the easiest way,
Mhm.
you know. And then you just link the position, the percentage to, you know, your slider or whatever, and then
Yeah.
easy enough, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Isn't there a car rig plugin for Cinema that does that too? With
I think there is, yeah.
Yeah. But this is for everything. Like you can do
Just drop something
Any
in, dropping it on.
cylindrical object. That's handy.
Yeah, so we'll put that link in the show notes. You can check that out. Also, I wanted to talk about Cascader.
What is this?
It's that it's the rigging thing that was it EJ?
Oh,
Who sent
yeah.
or David sent it to us.
Cascadeur.
How do you spell?
Cader?
Yeah.
I don't know. Cascadeur.
It's like
Cascadeur.
it's like Brodeur, Cascadeur.
Cascadeur.
Yeah. But
I saw this a while ago, and
Really?
it's been around for a while. Yeah, it's very cool. It's
Oh, I saw a little video fly by my feed, but I meant to circle back. What is this thing?
It's basically for rigging characters and animating characters and stuff like that. So you bring in a character rigged, and then it helps you. I don't know the exact. It helps you animate them
more easily animate.
Mm-hmm.
There's no mocap here. This is all animated. Like, wow.
It just
Yeah.
looks,
It's a bunch of IK setups then. It's like all IK based.
Yeah, I think so.
Something?
Yeah, I think it's just supposed to make a lot of the process easier. And
Yeah.
it's like if they could do this.
I like the adjustments where you can like create one keyframe and then create another keyframe and then like easily adjust in between, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, having a master, keyframe of the entire pose is something that's a lot, more handy than like each limb and not being able to,
Yeah.
move it over. That looks super handy.
Yeah.
So I
Pretty
signed
rad.
up. I haven't tried it yet, but I anything that could make doing character stuff easier for me
Yeah.
is just awesome. And then again, you come up with that whole difficulty where you got a piece of software in front of you that's a completely new interface.
It's got the onion skinning too, which is pretty
it does
cool.
have onion skinning. Yeah, trajectories. But you sit in front of a new piece of software with a new interface, and you're like, why can't Maxon just do this and put it in there? Because I just want to stay in Cinema 4D all the time.
Right.
This is ease of use, but you can take this in and out of Cinema, of course.
It's cool.
So,
How much is it?
I'm not sure at the moment. Let's see. I'll look and see if I can.
I guess it's free for the beta.
Well, for the beta, of course. I don't know if they've written anything else as far as like what it's going to cost, but I did sign up to
free
try
for
the beta.
early adopters.
I'm looking for another couple things I can throw $100 a month at personally.
Right.
Them subscriptions, though.
It's,
Nick, have you done a lot of character stuff outside of like Mixamo?
Well, yeah, I mean, using the Mixamo control rig without Mixamo now. I'm doing that for everything. I'll make a character, put it in the Mixamo control rig, and just use the Cinema character controls now because it's just all the IKs are there. It's great. You can slide between with the IK on or off if you do have keyframes, and like I said, all the hand animation is super handy. And even just taking Mixamo stuff and then doing that other layer on it is so awesome because it's like I'm super sick of just the Mixamo on everything, and I know every single motion in there, like the back of my hand. I'm like, anytime I see it, I'm like, wait, it's it's like using a stock photo.
You're like, I know that one. I've seen the Thriller dance 800 times.
And I really wish Adobe would, maybe Maxon should just buy it off them and actually open it up to, because so many people have these mocap suits now. It's just like it should be like upload yours and sell it or make a buck on it or something like that. Should be opened up to the public so we all have this massive library of stuff, and you know. It'd be amazing.
I agree.
So I hope something like that comes out one day because that would be great. But for the time being, it's like if I take Mixamo mocap and I'm able to make it my own by altering the hip, because you can just move the hip around and all of a sudden you've got a funny dance or like it's super handy for customizing that stuff and making it more interesting. So but yeah, definitely having those IK controls on the character rig is super handy, and we did a lot of that in the Dead Mouse video too. So it's cool.
Only other link I have is for a tutorial. This is by, I have a name here, Edgar Davey. And he posted this somewhere. It might have been in the Cinema 4D Facebook group the other day, but this is for about real-time rendering in Cinema 4D without any plugins or external engines or anything. So this is just about doing everything in the viewport.
Doubt.
Which, wait. No, this is actually really cool. Look at this. I mean, it's looking pretty nice considering that this is just C4D viewport.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I mean, the viewport is it's not too bad whenever you're,
Mm-hmm.
if you're working in standard C4D materials.
Right.
I find now, because
like,
I only use Octane, so I'm like, I turn textures off in the viewport almost all the time until I'm ready to do my texture pass and check it out in Octane. I'm just like, as I'm just working and messing around, I don't even want the bog down at all with anything.
Right.
So I just turn it all off, do my thing, and then, take texturing and all that stuff in the live viewer as a totally separate, thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But because our Octane materials don't show up nice in the viewports because they're all screwed.
not
So
always.
that's kind of like, I just kind of ignore it. But this looks beautiful. Like that's a good, viewport render.
Yeah, it looks really good. So if you're into that kind of thing, I'll put that in the show notes. You can check that out as well. But that's all I got for links.
That's cool.
That's it.
Have you guys messed with U-Render at all?
I have a little bit. I liked it. The thing that I liked about it was that it was very similar to using just stock C4D,
Yeah.
And
it seems like if you're going for that cartoony look, it could be super handy. But
yeah. The biggest thing that I ran into is, and it's been with all the real time, whether it's been U-Render or Unreal, is aliasing. You get that aliasing really bad, and so I don't know. I even tried rendering 4K and bringing it down like Casey did, but it just didn't. It wasn't that great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might have been doing something wrong. But then once I jacked up a whole bunch of like settings and stuff, I wasn't getting real time anymore.
Yeah,
it was like going a second per frame, which not
that's
gonna
unacceptable.
Happen. No,
way too slow.
No, yeah.
Got an email
That's cool.
from Samuel Leshnick, who, this is a follow-up. He sent something last week.
Yeah.
And it was about your tutorial, but he sent something else. And he said, thanks for the enjoyable tutorial. I asked a specific question a few days ago and have a general question now. Would you choose to use the volume mesh versus the project mesh versus the detailed polygon pen approach that you show in part 3? You mentioned that the volume mesh doesn't work that well, which leaves the other two approaches. Is the point of the project mesh retopologizing and the polygon pen manual retopo both to achieve low polygon counts without poles so that you can best create UVs and rig the character? Why would one choose one approach over the other? You guys are awesome. Thanks.
So this is in regards to the sculpting tutorial that I put out. I am very well known to trash the volume mesher. Here's the thing. I think it's awesome.
It's great.
It's cool. It is great for people who don't know how to model. But if you know how to model, just model it correctly.
Sure.
And so like I like having really good UVs or really good polygons. Whenever I'm messing with something. So I have a tendency to stay away from the polygon or the what's it called?
The volume
mesher.
Yeah.
When sculpting. Now, if you just want to, say for example, when you're sculpting, you're going to subdivide it a whole bunch of times and you're going to get a really, really small mesh. And sometimes you don't always need that, especially if you don't have a lot of detail in there. So what you can do is you can volume mesh it, and it brings down the, how detailed it is. And so if it's not, you're going to lose details if it's already very detailed. But if it's not, volume mesh is fine. But it just doesn't create super clean, topology.
They need to add some kind of guide system like in ZBrush where you can draw splines on the shape and force lines on it, so it's like not just
cool.
But I find I'll use the volume mesher a lot and make something rough and then take let's say it's something I could use model properly with a loft
Yeah.
nerve or something, then I'll actually go over it and use it as my like
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
Or I've taken those volume mesh stuff into ZBrush too, and then done the retopo in there. So
Yeah.
it is handy, but yeah, you're right. You want to get those nice UVs so you bounce it out.
Quad remesher is really nice. From all the
Mhm.
stuff that I've seen on it, it's made by the same person who did Z remesher.
Yeah.
So and that's in cinema. So if I was going to go about the process of just remeshing something, I would probably do that over the volume mesher.
That's what
Now,
Tokyo
as
Meg
far
says
as-
in the chat too.
Yeah.
Z remesher.
Yeah. So like now as far as like doing a project mesh, like I would do a project mesh before I would run into Z remesher or to quad remesher, because if you watch the video, I think it's in part 3 where I show using the project mesh where I project like a just a sphere. Yeah, no, a sphere onto my actual sculpt. Like the topology looks beautiful. It's good. And so if it's just going to be still, that's awesome. You've got good topology. That's where you start. But if you're actually going to animate it, you always want to go back and you want to, redo it yourself. You want to retopo with the polygon pen. You want to get those good things. Go back to, I recommended the SIGGRAPH talk that Jess Herrera did from 2 years ago, 2 SIGGRAPHs ago. It's such a good one especially for retopoing faces and stuff. That's where I really learned, a lot from that one.
And the displacement stuff really
displacement
vary.
stuff is incredible. It's insane that you can do that stuff in cinema. And I have the guy in the guy who works at Redshift who was on the SIGGRAPH presenting for SIGGRAPH. Yeah, he did say, you can use those straight files in Redshift. While technically that's true, because I heard that and I was like, oh, you can? I've been trying to do this. It doesn't look correct. Like for some reason there's some like it's like or the polygons look like they're like rounded for some reason. It's not like one from one what you get with C4D. So I don't know. It's and
Octane is it working in Octane? It's not working in Octane.
It doesn't work in Octane. Like the thing is, I can't get either of them working correctly.
What is it? A displacement?
So what you do is you can bake your displacement into a shader, in Cinema. So it's using vector displacement on a low res mesh then rendering it to where it looks one for one what you sculpted. Just super cool. So you can do what would normally be 2 million polygons onto like a 10,000 polygon sphere or something like that. It's really cool.
But doesn't Octane have its own vector displacement thing?
It does.
You can do that, right?
It does, yes. But the problem that I found with vector displacement in Octane is that you're then subdividing it. You're having to subdivide it,
in order to give it enough
more
geometry.
Polygons, which you might as well just use, standard C4D, because I've had it just crash on me, trying to
you have
the
to get it
vector
kind of
displacement
close.
to work. Yeah. So it's whatever, it's a really cool thing that you can do if you're using standard C4D. It's a shame you can't use it in any of the third-party renderers, no matter what they say. Yeah,
It'll get there.
It'll
get there eventually. Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, I'm literally the only person who's asking for it, and I don't even use it. Like there's no reason for me to even use it or something. There was a really good use case a couple years ago at NAB. They had a couple of I don't know who they were or where they were working for, but it was a couple of female artists who were showing off some medical animation stuff. And this is where I originally learned it. They were going through and they were sculpting some of these microbes and stuff. and then just straight up off of a sphere, and then doing a cloner, like doing a cloner system with dynamics or something like that, where it was moving through, so it was keeping super low poly, but rendering out all this display stuff, and it was, I mean, it's pretty cool, if you're using standard C4D. Yeah. Anyway. But my workflow, if you're going through and you're wanting to retopo something super quickly, and you're not animating it, like it's not moving, do the project mesh. Project mesh is crazy good. I was amazed at how well the quads came out, and it looked one for one. Yeah.
Gotta try.
Anyway,
I'm amazed how well my quads are coming out.
Have you done any sculpting in C4D, Nick?
Oh, with the like C4D sculpt tools? Yeah, tons.
Okay.
Yeah. It's I mean, now I'm kind of moving more into the ZBrush world if I'm doing anything that requires brushes and things like that. Right. But I still use it all the time for, messing up people's faces and doing like pose morph tags for facial expressions and things like that.
Yeah, the pose morph tag is pretty cool. I didn't even know that until I was doing this tutorial series, Very cool.
Yeah, we did that for this French music video that's coming out. I made like a full facial expression set just by, moving not full as in they're talking and stuff, but just all these different frowns and smiles and stuff like that, and being able to easily keyframe between them is super handy. So brings especially with a scan person, it really brings it to life if you've got them walking for and just like a little bit of facial motion with some eyes moving around. It's just all of a sudden like, wow, this looks super real, and it's super fast. Like you just take the grab tool and like move the face a little bit. You got a facial expression, save it, do another pose morph, and you have like 20 of them in no time. So it's pretty fun.
Cool. Very cool. Vicky in the chat says Vessel Studios. She thinks is the medical animation studio I'm thinking of. So
didn't they present at the latest show?
I don't know.
Thinking of somebody else.
Maybe.
Yeah. Are most of those live shows like the NABs and SIGGRAPHs and stuff, are they all going online these days or what? I haven't really.
Yeah, I mean, everything is at least until the end of the year, and then maybe even into a little bit of next year. I don't know. So it's, I don't know. This is the world we live in nowadays.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because I had never done any of those talks until that one NAB I went with you guys, and that triggered like 20 of them all around the world. It was a crazy run there for a couple of years, but
I was gonna say you just jumped into presenting everywhere after that.
Yeah, it was fun. I went to Holland, I went to Japan, I went to France, I went to Chicago, LA. I don't know, it was just so many places, a whole bunch of them here in Toronto. It was kind of nuts, but super fun.
How'd you enjoy presenting?
It was fun. It's cool way to kind of chapter your life a little bit, and like you're kind of doing a retrospective of all the stuff you've made. So it kind of felt like that, like, hey, this is maybe the end of a chapter. See it in perspective, and to show people the stuff and get some laughs too is always nice. But I kind of felt like I did so many of them. I wanted to take a break anyway. I was like, okay, I'm not getting work done. I'm just doing this all the time. And then I'd stay it'd be like, hey, it's a free flight to whatever country, and you stay for 3 days. And I'm like, no, I'm going to go for a week, and you blow all the money made if there was any. And like, it's not really like a cash positive situation. So. But it's super cool. And you meet so many people and potential clients in the crowd and everything else. It's a great thing to do. So
that was always my favorite thing about going with Max onto any of these places, that they don't pay you to be there for the if you're a presenter, they don't pay you to be there, but like the experience and stuff, I mean, you're losing out on work, but whatever, like you get to go out and you get to party, you get to experience all these places and stuff. Like that's the fun part to me. Like if someone was to offer for me to go to Japan or something and present there, I'd be like, sure, you pay my way, you pay my hotel, I don't care, I'll do it for free.
That's great.
So,
I did find the information.
I really need some Icelandic people to need us to present.
Right.
Right.
For all those conferences.
Are flights still super cheap to Iceland? I know for a while after the.
I don't think we can even get there.
Yeah, obviously now,
we're locked in our own country.
They were giving away flights for a long time just to get some money back in their economy after the crash, right?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they do that again once things get better, because I'm ready to go to Iceland.
Same here. Trying to figure out where our next vacation's gonna be.
Is the I don't know if it was Vessel that you were referring to earlier. I don't remember who the two women were who were presenting. If it was Vessel, I think it was different people working there because Thomas Cohen was on the stream, the Maxon stream last week. They're actually signed up. They're going to be on the show maybe September, October. I can't remember. I'll have to go check. Maybe you can ask if that was them doing that. You could dig into that a little bit.
Everybody does medical animation now. Virus animation, super popular.
Oh, yeah.
Corona simulations. Yeah.
I think the Pixel Lab gave out a free coronavirus model. It's like everyone's using that now.
Yeah. I think
and
as got it covered.
Maxon says, all of their live presentations are published on their YouTube channel. So, if you'd like to go back and look, you can feel free.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Kevin.
Yeah. I made a coronavirus animation, but it was like, a guy who was, pooping out limes and had a bunch of Corona bottles stuck
I
to his
did
head.
see that one.
Oh,
I saw
yeah.
that one. Yeah.
I was like, what the hell happened?
That was like
sudden,
right at the beginning of the whole coronavirus.
Yeah, it was super
stuff.
early,
and I was like, "Oh, this is funny. This isn't gonna be a thing."
Before it was like, "Wow,"
and then we're like, "Oh shit, this is a thing."
God.
Yeah.
But I actually got taken down by some person at Corona, and I was like, "What the hell?" They actually, did a, contract logo takedown. I was like, "Oh, of course." I put the Corona logo tattooed on the guy's chest.
Right.
Kind of like,
Isn't
that
it,
wasn't cool.
It's not fair use.
But they undid it.
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
I was like, what the hell? I didn't even complain or file a counter thing on Instagram or anything, and all of a sudden it was like the next day it was back up. Like, okay, they had second thoughts. Yeah. Well, logos. I don't think logos are like actually using somebody's trademarked logo like that. I don't think it was fair use.
Is it fair use if it's considered a spoof or something?
Maybe. I just know when I was working on Conan and stuff, we still couldn't use logos straight up. Even if it was like I could use the footage from a commercial, I could use anything, any imagery to a degree. But anytime it came to logos or music, it was like that stuff's so litigated they just don't let you do it.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Oh.
Huh.
You can ask 10 lawyers and they'll all say different things, but there's a lot of precedent there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big gray area.
Man, that feels like forever ago. Gosh, that was so long.
I know. That's like the last however many months. It
was like
a decade.
The world was a completely different place where we were just making jokes about something after a beer.
Yeah.
I want to say it was who is it that does Corona, that makes Corona? Like, is it Anheuser-Busch?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
One of them, whoever it was, I saw a funny joke online. I don't know if it was serious or not, but where they're like, Corona beer will pay $10 million to stop calling it Corona virus, and they'll pay it $15 million to start calling it the Budweiser virus.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's good. Well, things are different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Is that about it?
I don't know. I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation from computers, so I had to actually dip into my old self to even do this.
Sorry. We made you get on your computer.
I'm gonna go back to digging holes.
Go back to digging holes.
That sounds
Barry
good.
and Dobby.
Yeah. I don't have to do anything else the rest of the day. I think I'm gonna go outside and wash my car.
That's a great
Again?
idea.
Well, I just gave it a brisk, quick washing. There's still dirt caked in all the crevices and.
Yeah. Take the T-tops off and go cruising in it. Like, that'll get the mildew smell out.
Oh, I put all of this stuff in there. I put, even in the air conditioning, there's this really cool spray that you can spray into the intake vents on the outside of the car, and it pushes through. You run the air, and it gets a lot of that smell out of it. It smells great now. I got little charcoal things on the inside and Pet Fresh on the carpet, and got all the windows down in the garage, airing it out. What happened?
Was it leaking? Like it was out in the rain and had a window open or something, or how did it get wet?
It just
hasn't been driven in 3 years.
It hadn't been driven. It was sealed up, but it still got some stuff leaking through little places, and I don't know how it got so bad. It doesn't make sense. Nothing was.
Looks cool. What engine you got in that thing?
It is. Gosh, I can't even remember at this point. I mean, it's the V8 that they used to put in them back in the day. I don't remember what it was. An LS one or an LT one? Which one was the later one? That
Is it? But it's a 350 or what is it?
I think it's the LS.
It's not. Okay.
It's been so long now. Let me find the info for you here.
Because we should race. We should probably meet in like Michigan or something and race or
True.
somewhere halfway.
Yeah. Let's see if I can.
Kansas, yeah, that would probably be a good place.
I'm gonna look up the specs. It's a 2001
What kind of
Camaro SS 35th anniversary edition. There's only 900 of them made with the T-tops.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And it's just been so long since I did.
I think it was Nucleus, Vicky. Yeah. I want to say I think it was Nucleus. University.
Oh, Nucleus. It probably was Nucleus. I'm looking it up right now to see if I can find this 5.7 liter V8, 310 horsepower. Yep.
Yeah, you would smoke me in a race.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, I used to know all the specs, but it's just been so long. I bought it new.
Oh wow!
So,
Wait, you've had that for how what year is it?
it's a 2001. It's a
Oh, okay, yeah.
and I bought it in end of 2000, so it's almost 20 years that I had it, and I traded in my beloved Z28 that I had all modded out for it, and it was the only one. The dealership could only get one of them at a time, and they put it on big display in front of the dealership. I'm like, I want that one. So
Well, that one.
I want that.
That's it. That is absolutely it. Yeah, it was. Let's see, Heidi
Nucleus.
Sincel and Elizabeth McDonald from Nucleus Medical Media. It was 2015 NAB Rewind. So, Dave, are you able to put that in the show notes?
Yeah, just put the link in for me so I
There you go.
don't have to go looking it up or whatnot.
It's in the dingus.
It is in the dingus. Awesome.
It's in the dingus. Cool. Thanks, Vicky.
Yeah.
Nick, what kind of Jeep do you have?
I have a 2016 Sahara Unlimited.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. First
hard
new
top
car
or
I've ever
soft
bought.
top?
I got both.
Oh, okay.
Came with both.
Cool. Nice.
It was great. I went at like the end of the year, and it was like there's like 5 left on the lot, and they were desperate to get rid of it. And I
Nice.
talked them down an insane amount, like $7,000 off the asking price or
Dude,
something,
and
because it
that's
was like
unheard of for Jeeps.
yeah,
Because
it was crazy.
They make so little money off of the Jeeps.
The dealership
know.
actually told me, the dealer was like, this is the cheapest we've ever sold one of these for.
Yeah.
Because I just kept
Yeah.
saying, no, I want one. I want next year's. I don't want this one. I want next year's.
Yeah.
And they kept, and I said, I want the exact same one as you have in the lot, except next year. I don't want that one. And they kept
Yeah.
coming back trying to sell me that one. And I kept saying, nope. And then finally they like sold it to me, and I got it like way cheaper.
The Sahara editions are great.
Mm.
My first Jeep was a Sahara edition. Is it it's an unlimited, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you go 4-door, you can't go back.
Yeah,
I had 3 other Jeeps, and they were all 2-door, and like.
I camped out in this one the other night. I put an air
Did you?
mattress in the back and like
Nice.
folded it down and slept in
Will
there.
it fit
passed
like
out.
what size? Like,
It's like I don't know what size air mattress is, but it's a bit of a crunch. Like I still
Okay.
got to kind of squish it in a bit, but
Yeah.
I got it in there. It was comfortable.
Ah, that's so cool. I'm jealous.
thing
And it's probably nice and cool outside there.
It
know,
was at night. It wasn't too bad. But then in the morning, I woke up and I was like, I got to get some like screens for the window and like
Yeah.
keep it,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the morning was a little rough, but
Yeah,
it's cool.
that's cool. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of TikToks of people like converting their vans and
Dude, they have wicked top like roof sleepers for the Jeeps. Yeah,
that's
it's
insane.
cool. Little ladder that goes up and you're like crashed out.
I don't want to have to climb a ladder though to
Yeah,
get into my, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I need to go camping.
Got
Camping
my
sounds fun.
got mine right here.
Nice.
See, but they're still dirt caked. That's why I got to go out there, get it all done, and you can see the paint like right here on the hood. The paint's coming off. You know, I'm gonna have to get the whole thing repainted.
Still a bright red. It
Get
looks
a vinyl wrap, man. Get a Mograph.com vinyl wrap. Put logos all over
We're
it.
gonna do.
I've been telling
I can do
them
that with
just
the
to
truck.
sell
There's
it.
the truck.
Just
Just
sell
put
it.
it on the Tundra.
No, we're gonna do a vinyl wrap with the RV once we buy an RV.
Yeah. It's
You
gonna
guys
get an
taking the
RV.
show on the road?
We
Oh,
are.
Hell yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna do
Yeah,
a
that's the
Mograph
plan. We're
RV
gonna buy-
tour.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's a good
anytime there's
idea.
a big meetup, we're just gonna bring the RV outside.
Yep.
You know,
That's great.
Mhm.
do a podcast right there.
Yeah, you
we'll have
gotta
a
get
studio.
some keg taps. Get some kegs in there.
Oh
course.
man, just put the keg refrigerator right there on one of the bays.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
man. Oh man. Now I got the wheels turning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
could.
I actually used to have an old school bus that I modded out. I used to manage
See,
these
that's what
bands.
I want. Dave's
Yeah.
like, oh, when are you gonna do that? Who's gonna
He's
put
like,
that
I'm
together?"
gonna do
Dude,
that. I'm like, yeah, okay, because you have time to go do that and get it done within
my
a
buddies
reasonable
and I
amount of
did it.
time.
We did it so ghetto. We were in our early 20s and we booked a cross Canada tour. Bought this thing for $1,800, painted it all matte black, ripped out all the seats, and then just built plywood like cubbyhole like beds in it. So they had sliding plywood doors, and then just put a couch up front with like a sink and a counter. It was so ghetto, but it was awesome.
Yeah,
Like
That's
super
awesome.
fun. Yeah, we drove all over Canada in that thing. It was great.
that's great when you're in your 20s.
$1,800, you can't go wrong. Yeah,
Right?
exactly. 4 dudes in a bus is only cool in your 20s. You
Yeah.
know? I can't imagine being 40 something and you're like with 5 buddies in a school bus. Like, not cool.
Was it a full size one? Or was
Yeah,
it
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, that's cool.
Full Ford B700, huge bus. It was
What
awesome.
was the gas mileage on that?
Not good. It was
No.
terrible, and especially in Canada, like because it's not like the States where you play a show every 50 miles or something. Like
Yeah.
you got to drive for like a day and a half to go
Yeah.
from Winnipeg to Edmonton or something. It's just so far.
Yeah.
But it was cool, and I had like a horn like blasting that you could. It would do all these farm animal noises when we so we would roll into town and like blast all this like weird sound effects and promote the show. It was cool.
That's funny.
Come and see our show.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. Yeah.
That's funny.
All
All
right.
right.
All right.
We got
Well,
more?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
I'm gonna go
I'm
wash
gonna
my
eat some
car.
lunch.
Yeah. Sorry about the audio nightmare. Now I
Yeah.
know never to use Adobe Audition again. Sorry,
You're
Adobe.
fine.
It's
You're
all
Yeah.
good.
Cubase has been solid. It's been recording the whole time. So
That's good.
the
Knock on
last
wood.
half will be good.
Just tell Adobe that's why we can't have nice things.
That's why we
Yeah.
can't have these things. Yep.
Cool. Well, we're gonna get out of
All right,
here.
guys.
You can rate us on iTunes, leave a review, helps get our ratings up, and subscribe on your podcatcher of choice. Our newsletter will be going out. I didn't do the newsletter last week. Honestly, no, Kevin, we're not talking about Breaking Bad or The Wire. We've already done Mograph recommends with Nick before, so
Yeah.
probably twice.
I was actually, I've been rewatching Doctor Who, and there was a character in one that I watched this morning. Its name was The Wire, and I was like, oh,
Oh, The
that's
Wire.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Wire. I am The Wire. Mm.
I haven't done the newsletter because I was hoping we could lock in the date for the next many hues of Mograph before I do that.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like we've got some great live shows that we just did. We got some great live shows coming up, but we don't have any other content to put in the newsletter
Yeah.
right now just because, again, it's that summer lull, right? So I'm waiting. Matthias is working out the details of that, and we're trying to work around the schedule of me possibly moving and, all these other live streams
Taking
and
next
things
week
going
off,
on.
right?
Yeah, that's a good thing to bring up. We will not have a show next Monday, but there will be a podcast audio from the Swarovski interview because we never put that on the
Are you
stream.
just doing a live? Oh yeah, that's for the podcast. If y'all maybe
Yeah.
I'll play video games next week online, and y'all can come join me.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
We get that Halo. We
Right.
all have our streaming boxes for Halo now. We need to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we should do that.
We should do that. And then, so the newsletter will go out hopefully this week. We'll see. Got to get that date locked in. You can say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with the Mograph logo tee, the Paul Bab Feel the Bad 2020 shirt. All the profits from that go to Doctors Without Borders. The Render Things t-shirt, hoodie, and long sleeve tee. And of course, the That Render Is Fire shirt, which you're only allowed to wear ironically.
Unless you're shams.
Unless you're shams. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, mograph.com. Mr. Balls, where can people find
Mr.
you
Balls.
online?
Smearballs.com it's got all the links there.
At
That's the easiest
Smearball.
place
Are
to
you
go.
at Smearballs on just about everything?
It's confusing because sometimes it has a Z at the end, sometimes it's an
I
S.
was
So
gonna
just go to the
say,
website and
some-
go to the links. It's
Somebody else had Smearballs.
my buddy, because Smearballs actually started as like a blog with me and my buddy. So my buddy made a Twitter account way early in the Smearballs history, and forgot the password and doesn't have that email anymore, so I had
Doesn't
to change
that
it.
suck?
Yeah.
Doesn't that suck? And like you can't get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
whatever. So it's a mess. My links are a mess, but it's cool. Just go to the website.
Cool. Cool. All right. Well, that's it. Again, thanks a lot. We're going to get out of here. And until next time, I'm Dave.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Nick.
Have a good one.
Goodbye.
Later, yo.
Awesome.
Burger.
Sweet. Now I'll give you 25 audio files.
It's only 4, right?
Fuck.
4.